Good morning, I'm Frank Powers, and this is Lifestyle Tucson, the program where I speak to our neighbors, the people behind the scenes of our amazing organizations, small businesses, and nonprofits. Our friends are informing you how they serve our community, and they are here to give you updates on future projects. Let's make some new friends today. After he was moved by a Life magazine article about a gang-related murder involving teenagers and feeling called to help, Reverend David Wilkerson moved to New York City to work with troubled youth, eventually founding Teen Challenge in Brooklyn. Initially focused on helping young gang members, the program later expanded to support individuals struggling with drug and alcohol addiction. Teen Challenge grew rapidly, offering residential programs across the U.S. to help people live drug-free lives. Since then, Teen Challenge has become one of the largest and most successful programs of its kind worldwide, and we're celebrating 60 years of Teen Challenge with David Dobkins, CFO of Teen Challenge Arizona. David, welcome to Lifestyle Tucson.
Thank you so much. It's great to be here. We appreciate it.
Heck yeah. So I spoke with Teen Challenge a while ago, like almost a year and a half ago. It was a great, very inspirational episode to learn all about your organization. Anyone can listen to that one on demand. But today we're going to be celebrating the 60 years of your organization and how you're a big part of the Arizona Christian Tax Credit Alliance that's bringing together 7 tax credit eligible nonprofits together. And that's going to be a good time because that's like the special thing that we're doing with this episode is getting you all together and then talking about how people can donate their tax credit to your organization or perhaps all of these great organizations under this umbrella. But before we get into all that, why don't you tell me a little bit of what Teen Challenge is all about?
Sure, thank you. So Teen Challenge, as you mentioned, started in New York. It's actually been going for 60 years here in Arizona. We have 5 different residential programs here in the state. We're faith-based. We have adult men, we have women with their children, and we have adolescent girls all at different locations. And we basically help encourage people who are struggling with addictions and other types of life-controlling problems to just overcome that through faith and through study. We do a lot of support. We do counseling. We also do work study with them to help them get prepared for leaving the program and re-entering society and start a new life.
It's all about hope, and that's what you're giving a lot of these kids and everybody that really helps it, because it's people of all ages, really. You yourself came from the program, you were saying off air before talking to me about it. Tell me about some of your experience. How long have you been with the organization, and tell me a little bit about your story.
Sure, absolutely, and thank you for that. I grew up in Phoenix, and like a lot of people in our programs, I did have church experience. Some of the people in coming to Teen Challenge do not. And that's completely fine. We work with everybody. But I just got away from my root, started to get in trouble in school, hanging out with the wrong people, making really bad decisions, ended up in addiction myself, and through a series of a lot of bad choices, and my family's still trying to support me and not give up on me. I was able to find Teen Challenge and get help, and that was back in 1990 when I completed the program, so 35 years ago. And I'm just so grateful. And since then, I started my family. I've got 3 young adult kids now, 2 grandkids. I've been married 33 years.
Grandkid? You should see this young man sitting in front of me. Grandkids, get out of town.
Yeah, it's
amazing. Does this program work miracles? Wait, it does.
It's such a blessing, I'm telling you. And for the last 21 years, I've been able to serve here as a CFO and the business manager at Teen Challenge, and just essentially really, drawing from my experience, not just as a business person, but as a graduate of the program to help serve here.
Absolutely incredible. And again, thanks for doing that. A lot of people don't realize, like, when they make their way through something, just having the 101 of experience is enough to teach a kid or to teach someone with no experience a good lesson. So having all the experience that you have, the actual life experience that you have from this, is something that really makes people believe in the program for sure, because seeing's believing. So let's talk about some of the programs that you do have going on at Teen Challenge, and just tell me all about it. Really, I'm on the website. It is tcaz.org. I implore everyone to check out their excellent website. It is very nicely designed and very easy to navigate all these tabs. Talk about what's going on, your mission history, your statement of faith, a bunch of success stories, which I always like to ask about, and then just some other fun things about your programs, about who can get involved and how they can get involved. So let's just talk about some of what you've got going on the website and just some of these tabs and programs.
Sure, absolutely. So when you come to the website, as you mentioned, there's tabs at the top. The first thing that we want people to see is how to get help. So if someone reaches out to Teen Challenge it's typically for help, for their self or for a loved one. And there's a Get Help button. There's a menu with different ways to get help, and that takes you to a page that basically gives you a contact form and or all the phone numbers for each of our different programs, depending on the need of the person that's needing help. So for adolescent girls, our home springboard is right here in the Tucson area, and they can have up to 10 young ladies, and families bring their daughters from all over the country, actually. It's not a just Arizona program, and it's one of the very few programs like it in the U.S. For our Women and Children program, that's in Casa Grande, and there's only very few of those where a mother can actually bring their child or children to come get help. Some ladies won't reach out to get help if they have to leave their children behind. And then we also have programs for men, and I call them the knuckleheads because I was one when I came in the program, and and I identify with that very, very readily. But, all joking aside, we have adult men because a lot of teen boys won't get help or resist help, and they finally realize once they've kind of gone through enough, they're young adults and they don't want to go further down that path. And we have a lot of families that come together and support the program, but also support their loved ones in the program. So we help facilitate restoration with the families, preparing to come back into society and work when they're done with the program.
Oh, you knuckleheads out there. I feel the same way because, again, I teach kids. And those boys and knuckleheads, the second they're like, it's still the same thing. It's all boogers and farts with the boys.
Yeah.
They are just ridiculous. Also, the thing about boys, they really do think they know it all. 7. Like, they really do. The girls are a little kind of being like, can you teach me this? The boys like, I know more about Spider-Man than you. Right. And I'm like, what? So that is an excellent way to put it because, again, that's the point. And giving them the strength to know that it's okay to ask for help. Yeah. All right. If you were on fire, you'd be begging for someone to put you out. Well, sometimes your life can really be chaos. Life can really get out of control. That's what a fire is. It's out of control. And you don't want addiction to get out of control. You don't want irresponsibility to get out of control. And that can just be some of it, is just not stepping up to the challenge of what it is to be a man. And that's a big part of what it is. And also to be an adult. Let's not even just make it about that. Let's make it about being an adult and being a person in society that can, A, function, but also take care of themselves, take care of their kids and their family, and not be a victim of addiction. It's tough because I'm addicted to shopping. It's brutal. We can get addicted to anything, right? It's true.
Yep.
Believe me, my bank account's telling me, like, I'm in the red, I'm bleeding. So it can really get tragic. And then there you are, like, why can't I stop this behavior? That's not the chemical addiction that a cigarette is, or the chemical addiction that alcohol is, or some of these things that really hold us back. And even though marijuana became medicinal and legal, hey, listen, you still want to be careful about what you're putting in yourself because it can be holding you back. And teaching all these folks self-reliance is, I think, probably the most important thing that you're doing, and to give them a chance to get it together and reorganize themselves. We shouldn't pay for the mistakes that we're making when we're knuckleheads, when we're kids, when we're not fully developed, and when we think we know it all. The mistakes that we make in our teenage years aren't supposed to define us for the rest of our lives. Tell me more about just the organization or something that you care about the most that you want to make sure we talk about today.
The importance of having that transformation from the inside out is what really gets people on a new path. And, we have people come into our programs in desperate need and then learn how they can live a life differently, restore with their families, with their employers, or find a new career if they've burned bridges or just weren't doing what they should have been doing to begin with. And something that's really important is just if you have a loved one who's going through addiction, or you can see the signs where they might be starting down that path, is to support them. We pray, but we also encourage them to reach out for help. We have people call us for their young kids, for their teens, for their spouses and friends, and just ask what should they do. And so we try to help people understand, that there is a way to support them, not to push them away or shut them out unless it's a harmful situation and that kind of scenario, but to just really stay in a conversation with them, let them know it's possible. And people come to realize there is a different way to live. When you're in the middle of addiction and you're in probably the darkest part of your life for a lot of people that come to us, it doesn't seem like there's a way out. So to not give up and understand that there is light at the end of that tunnel and a different way to live is a really important point for them to understand.
Again, you got to have hope. It's important. Seeing is believing. So meeting folks at your organization is important. And a good way to do that, events. So why don't we talk about some of the fun stuff going on? Because it looks like you got quite a few events, quite a few different places, because you're celebrating 60 years.
Yeah, it's over 70 years from the inception in New York that you mentioned earlier. And so just here in Arizona, 60 years. And it's a blessing. And some of the events that we're doing that you mentioned, our spring banquet series all around some of the more rural towns in Arizona. We're going to Yuma, Sierra Vista, Casa Grande, Lake Havasu City. We have a lot of people that reach out to us for help in that area. Prescott and Flagstaff as well. We just finished in the fall our fall series, which are the major cities, Phoenix, Tucson, Scottsdale area. We also do a lot of community outreach events that are not fundraising, but they're service. And so, we have a backpack bash event coming up in the summer in Phoenix where we serve about 2,000 people. They get a meal, they get backpacks full of school supplies for their kids, and they get an inspirational message and some live music and just kind of a fun day. And that's in downtown Phoenix, and that's fully covered, by donor support, which is real amazing. We're also expanding our programs right now. We have 2 building projects going on. For those that live here in Tucson, driving up and down Oracle Road might see that one happening just north of Grant Road, and that's one of our men's programs. And the need is an unfortunate increasing need to serve people, and so we're expanding our capacity there. And then up in New River, where we have one of our men's programs, we're also expanding that too, because we're just finding that more people are realizing they need to get help, and they're coming to us for help. So, and on the event level, those types of events are things that we do all year round. We go out in the community. We do Hope Fest type events. We collaborate with other ministries like Gospel Rescue Mission and GAP and some of the others that are around here. We're also now kind of leading the Hope Fest that happens in Prescott, downtown Prescott, every fall. So that's an amazing event. A lot of people come, veterans and homeless people and just people in need, and they get different services for that too.
Absolutely incredible. Again, people, go sign up for a newsletter. I'm sure you must have one of those. Yep. Go over to tcaz.org. Where can people find you over on Instagram perhaps as well? Things like that?
So we're on Facebook, but and we also have a YouTube channel, and those are both at the bottom of the website under the Contact Us area. And they can sign up for the newsletter. They can also fill out a Contact Us form on the page, and someone will reach out to them within a day or two regarding their questions and their needs that way as well.
Absolutely important stuff that you got going on here. If you got one last call to action to say for anybody, just give it out here.
Sure. Well, 2 calls of action.
Go for it.
If you do need help, again, tcaz.org. You can also call us 800-346-7859 and just ask for help, whether it's for yourself or for someone else that you love. And we'll do everything we can to help you. The second call to action is Support Teen Challenge. We're here, the tax credit is an amazing way to save on your taxes and support a organization that you care about, the cause, with your funds that way too. So it's an actual dollar for dollar tax credit up to a certain amount. The 2024 amounts are still in effect through April 15th if someone hasn't given their full tax credit amount for that year. But they can also start on 2025, and the state legislature has generously increased those amounts for 2025 too. So it's a real blessing, and that would be the second one, is to just ask for people to consider how they can support the cause here.
That's amazing. Get all that info over, again, at taxcreditaz.org. We're helping out the Arizona Christian Tax Credit Alliance, because it's a big deal when friends come together to help all of our other friends in our community. And today, we made friends with David Dobkins, CFO of Teen Challenge Arizona. If you need help for a loved one with an addiction, there is hope. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
This was Lifestyle Tucson. Bing bong bing, time for a recap. I really enjoyed that conversation with David. I always really think that it's great when people who go through something kind of grow out of being a knucklehead, right? And teach others from their mistakes, because you can really learn from other people's mistakes. That's why biographies are my favorite thing to look at, whether it's a documentary or reading a book. You really learn a lot when, you learn from others' mistakes. If you see a hole in front of you, you don't tend to fall in it. So it's good to know what's on the path ahead, especially if it is, should I try this? Should I try that? Experiment with this? Maybe not. Because addiction's a heck of a thing to kick, as I was talking about, when it's not just chemical. Sometimes it's this itch you can't scratch because of a habit or a situation, an environment, a lot. So that was a really good conversation that I had with David Dobkins. Again, a good thing to check out is tcaz.org. Go find them on all the social mediums and you'll see what's going on and keep up with everything going on. And go to taxcreditas.org to get all the information about everything going on with what we're all about. Using your Arizona tax credit in the right way, giving it to a great organization that you care about. Just so long as you donate it, you can spread it around, donate to just this one. That's all that matters. So I want to thank our new friends at Teen Challenge Arizona for joining me today. You've been listening to Lifestyle Tucson. If you're a nonprofit that would like to be on the show, email lifestyletucson@gmail.com. For more information about this program or to listen to something you may have missed, go to the Sunday Mornings page on klpx.com, kfma.com, mixfm.com, or espntucson.com. You can also subscribe on iTunes, Spotify, and Audible, or wherever fine podcasts are full of knuckleheads. Follow on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram @Lifestyle Tucson. Because I'm your BFF, your best Frank forever, Frank Powers, and toot toot Tucson. I love you the most.